I got started a long time ago. It was back in 1984, if I'm not mistaken, 1985. And in Jiu-Jitsu, I began to train actually because of surfing. That was a funny thing. I mean, I used to surf in a spot in called Quebra-Mar in Rio de Janeiro. And from there, I began to get friends with a lot of people, including the Gracies, Henzo, Gracie, Half, and Hyatt. And there used to be a Gracie. It wasn't even called Gracie Bar. It was called Gracie Jiu Jitsu Club, really close to that spot in the beach that I used to surf. And Hanzo High and Half used to train there, you know. And they're really like kind of neighbors of ours, and they're really like feared there, you know. And everybody was like, man, these guys, you know, they can take care of themselves. And I was lucky that I was friends of them, you know. I always wanted to learn you know, the jujitsu, how confident they were, and you know, that fascinating art. I did judo before jiu-jitsu. I did judo since I was young, so I thought I had a good base, and I thought I could take care of myself. But my first class was kind of a disaster. I got beat up pretty bad by a girl. Nothing against the girls, don't get me wrong. There's a bunch of tough girls there, but I couldn't understand that. You know, I was kind of a tough guy of the beach, and you know, and all that. But anyways, but the first person that began actually to teach me like formal classes was a guy called Tocila Jordan. His nickname is Pitoko. He's really good friends of Henzo, of all of us. He used to be a surfer too. And after I got hooked and I really wanted to be, you know, to go further, then I went to full time, and I signed up at Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Club. And by the time the teachers were the Machado brothers. That's one thing that a lot of people don't know. And that's how everything began. You know, I began to have classes with Carlos Machado and Higan Machado. John Jack was a purple belt when I first joined. And Johnny Machado was a blue belt, if I'm not mistaken. And Henzo was blue or purple, if I'm not mistaken too. So it was like very in the beginning, a long time ago. Yes, it's kind of like, it was a damn math teacher, man, a long time ago. I was really young when that happened. It was probably, I'm not sure, like fifth grade or sixth grade. I'm not sure. It was a long time ago. And I was kind of talkative kid, you know. I used to talk a lot, and there was this math teacher. He was kind of like a smart ass kind of guy. And then he was like, "Hey, you there? You talk a lot, huh? You like to talk? Yeah, for me, you look like Dracula." And everybody begin to laugh. But you're little, so you're little Dracula, so Draculino. You know, like Inho in Brazil is kind of like a little Dracula. But for some reason that I don't know why until today, people don't call me Draculino, they call me Draculino, N-O instead of N-H-O. And then that thing stick to me since then. And of course I didn't like it, because when you don't like it, it sticks to you. And it was the case. I didn't like it, people calling me Draculino and all that. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, this guy did me a good thing, you know, because I got to be known in jiu-jitsu, you know, and what I do right now because of Draculino. So even my wife calls me Draculino nowadays, man, for Christ's sake, you know. So it was not a bad thing, but that was the beginning of everything. Since then, everybody calls me Draculino, man. It's crazy.
Um, do you prefer to go? I mean, everybody calls you Draculino, but do you prefer to go by your real name, or I mean, at school, do people call you professor? They call you
Yeah, they
master.
call me Professor Draculino, Professor. Some people call me Draculino. I don't really mind. I mean, Draculino is kind of my second name, to be honest. So, yeah, I don't mind at all. That's how people know me in jiu-jitsu circles and martial arts, and that's fine with me, and I don't have any problems with that. I mean, like, I see a lot of great new jiu-jitsu, new generation jiu-jitsu, if I would say. A lot of great competitors, a lot of great fighters, and I see that, you know, the art is still evolving, which is a good thing. But I also feel that our generation, and actually, of course, you have to mention the generations before, because of them, we are who we are, you know. They always taught us jiu-jitsu as a whole, you know. We always learn the self-defense aspect. We always learn how to fight on our feet, how to do takedowns, how to pass the guard, how to defend the guard, how to have really good defense on not tapping. So we learn for sure jiu-jitsu as a whole. I mean, we never had like any part of jiu-jitsu, and don't get me wrong, we include the philosophy too. We include the philosophy, we include the samurai spirit and the Bushido code, all that. It was a complete package. So our generation, thank God, had access to all that. And what I feel right now, not with everybody, but some schools that they tend to go on only one certain vertent of jiu-jitsu, so you see like great and awesome competitors nowadays, and they're great, but they have like kind of just one specialty, you know what I mean? Like if you take them out of that, they are nobody, you know what I mean? Like for example, there's guys who are like great in deep half guard, and they can be world champions, 5-time world champions doing just this move. But if you tell them to do like a takedown or to do a self-defense move, they don't know what to do. If you put them on the ring, I'm not saying that anybody has to be fighting MMA to prove anything. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. I mean, you fight if you want to, but I think that a MMA ring really shows the whole of your jiu-jitsu. You really show in a fight that you can do the whole spectrum of jiu-jitsu and not just one certain thing. You know what I mean? And that's one thing with us, that we learn the whole spectrum, the full spectrum, so we can teach whatever is needed. So that's why I feel that our generation made really good students. My students, and of course Renzo's students, Hal's students, Gordo's students, Marcia Feitosa's students. They are really good students because they know the spectrum of it all. I mean, we don't win all the time. I mean, nobody wins all the time anywhere. But our students know jiu-jitsu. That's I can guarantee as a whole. So I think maybe there was the difference. I think we learned jiu-jitsu at a really, really right time. I think that was the difference that you want to know for sure. Then different than nowadays for sure. The thing with the Sparta guard is that I'm not going to say that I invented that, because it's not true. I didn't invent anything. I saw Renzo in training. Since me and Renzo used to train a lot together and be on the mats together, I saw Renzo doing that a lot. Holding the sleeves, and the first thing that came to my mind is that wasn't even too much offense and attacks, was how hard it was to pass his guard when he had that position. And then people eventually got tired and sweeps the person or do something. And this was something that was really cool, because as I was really small, I was always on the bottom. People kind of just forced me to be on the bottom a lot of times. And then I began to do and experiment that. And because I was doing that so much, I began to use, besides being defensive, to be offensive too. Don't get me wrong, I wasn't the first one to do that, but I was so much on that position that I began to develop a couple of things, And I do remember that in tournaments, especially when I was like a purple belt or late blue belt and a purple belt, I was so good on that it was the only thing I was doing. It was kind of actually bad for my game for a while. But people were being, I was beating everybody on that. I was sweeping people, I was triangling people, I was doing arm bars, I was, doing all kinds of stuff for the Spider God. And people begin to kind of like actually giving me a little bit of criticism on that. That was a funny thing. Kind of like the 50-50 guard receives criticism nowadays. I began to get some criticism back then. People say like, what the heck, man, it's an ugly game, just holding on the sleeves there for dear life and all that. I think it should be forbidden to grab on the sleeve. You have to grab on the collar only. I'm not going to say names. A lot of people were saying that. But in reality, that they were not like doing a really good job on trying to pass a Spider guard. That was the truth, you know what I mean? And that's what the story. And then I developed a lot of things from the Spider guard. I'm not gonna lie that a lot of things that we do on Spider God, I didn't see anybody doing before me. I mean, the concept, Renzo is the inventor. I don't know if somebody did before, but the first guy I ever seen doing that was Renzo, and you have to give him that. But a lot of the things after that, I developed myself, especially like sweeps from there. So, and then nowadays you see, man, people are doing all the, like almost everybody does Spider guard nowadays. Like open guard is kind of almost a synonym open bar, you know. So I'm happy, you know, if somehow I contributed to something, you know what I mean? So.